Hi everyone, and welcome to Efficient Gaming's latest video on The Witcher Monster Slayer. Today we're going to be covering quests and my thoughts on those. They're a really interesting part of the game and they develop such a great storyline. But before we get into that, there was something that was posted up on the Reddit page the other day, and I just wanted to run through that with you because it's something that was interesting to me and I got a lot of enjoyment out of researching into that. So as the public holiday was coming up for myself in the UK this Monday, I was wondering why we have any sort of public holiday in May at all. I've never understood the history behind it or anything like that. So yesterday on the 1st of May, one of the community managers posted something cool in the Reddit group to celebrate Belleteyn, a Witcher universe event, which I will play a small clip of now. Now this is great content, but the only criticism I had of this video, or short clip, was that it didn't have any audio to it. So I've added this in from the Witcher 3 game, and I think it feels a lot more festive now. So have a look at that. Now this type of content and community engagement is something that I'm really keen to see. They've done a great job on writing something up to bring awareness to in-game events that coincide with real events. And I really hope that in the future, when the game is released, that these type of things form the basis for in-game events in Monster Slayer, whether that's XP boosts or any sort of new monster release or whatever they're going to do with events-wise. It's something that I hope they bring together. As authentic things provide a richer story environment. And something that is even loosely tied to a real-world event will make it that much more immersive for the player. As I was previously wondering why we have a public holiday in May at all, I did a little bit of research, starting with Belleteyn. So, from Spocko's own words, Belleteyn is here. Food, drink and dance are the order of the evening, making for a night of unforgettable celebration. Feast beside roaring bonfires and watch merry revelers leap over flames for luck. But remember, monsters never sleep. So keep your senses sharp, Witchers. Now that's an engaging post that mentions both the in-game Witcher event, which is tied to a public holiday in the UK for us. So it brings the game into our everyday life. From some of my research into May Day or Belleteyn celebrations, if you read up on most celebrations centered around May Day, they're all Northern Hemisphere based because of the seasons change, and it involves celebrations centered around spring. Bounties of food, drinks, and fertility, which makes sense as in nature most of the animals tend to have their young in spring, and spring is a great time for most crops. The closest link I could find to a real-world event linking to Belleteyn is in Gaelic culture, the Feast of Beltane, which translates to Lucky Fire. Traditionally, bonfires were lit to mark the coming of summer and to grant luck to people and livestock. So I think this event, more than any of the others, was inspiration for the Witcher Universe's event. Now, I don't know how interested all of you are in finding out about these things, but I love finding out about interesting things, so I'm glad that this post led me to find out about May Day celebrations, which I was literally thinking about the other day anyway, and expanded my knowledge on both the real world and the Witcher universe. But enough of that. Hopefully you learned something. I know I did. And now to the actual gaming content of the video, The Witcher Monster Slayer's in-game quests. As I mentioned before, quests are one of my favourite parts of the game. It gives you another reason to want to play, to continue that story that they've involved. Now the story that these give is actually a really good one in my opinion. So we're just going to have a look at the first quest, which you may have seen some of in my first video if you watched that. So we've got the in-game interface here, and we're being told to tap the monster to fight it. Now this is literally the first thing that you get when you open the game. We've got a monster fight. So we're just going to kill that monster. Now if this monster kill was easier than any other monster kill of that type, it's been made easier for the quest.
Nice work with the ghoul, Witcher. Very clean cut. Looks like you're ready for the final exam, unless you'd prefer to practice on dummies first. Ready for the exam? Practice makes perfect.
anytime there's dialogue, I will just let you listen to that because it's the actual quest content. Now, this is the practice session. I just fast forwarded through most of it because it's literally fighting a dummy. It's a bit dull. But it's part of the quest, so I wanted you to see it.
Ready for the exam?
I think we are now, yes.
You must defeat the Devourer as part of the exam. Remember to prepare before the fight.
So this is a shortcut of our preparation. We are just going to click on the monster. So it's brought us back to the map, clicking on the monster. And I didn't leave it there very long, but my preparation was throwing a couple of witch potions and oils on, which was letting us defeat this really easily. To be honest, you probably don't necessarily need to use any of the witch potions or oils, because again, this is a much easier fight than fighting this monster directly off the map will be, because it's part of the quest content. So,
when the Devourer was struck down with a skillful blow of her sharp blade, the matter was clear. The Witcher had passed the exam. The Master nodded in recognition and handed a wolf school medallion and an inroad bestiary to the young Witcher, wishing that they'd serve him well on the path.
I love the authentic accents that they've given to the characters. It's very much like the Witcher TV series and the game. So that was our first quest completed. We've got a few rewards there, and because it's our first quest and you don't need much XP to level up in the beginning, that's our level up. So as you can see, for the next part of the quest, I actually lost because at that point my phone stopped recording. In short, you click on the little man on the map who was laying down injured there. I'm not sure if he will appear in the same position for you as he did for me, but you might have to go find him. But for me, he spawned right on top of me, so I could just click on him. As I said, my phone forgot all the recordings because it stopped recording at that point, and I wasn't aware of that. So some of the interactions with him and the dialogue are missing, but they've actually got a really good mechanic in the game where if you've missed some of the story or you want to go back and review some of the story, you can. And so that's what we're going to show you here. So as you can see, we're now on the next part of the quest, which is track down the monster. But we're just going to go back in here into our journal and click on the quest that we want to look at again, and then click on the little video play button, which will replay the main animation for the quest.
When the Witcher emerged from the woods, her eyes beheld a most curious sight. A wild assortment of papers, books, boxes and garments laying on the ground. And sitting in the middle of it all, a clearly pained and muddled young man, dressed in the Skellige fashion. The Witcher sighed and stepped towards him.
So that was just a short recap of the interaction that you've got with Thorstein, and it basically gives you a recap of the story because that's the part that I missed. So the next part, we're actually tracking down the monster, and I will show you that now. So on our quest, we've got track down the monster that's taken Thorstein's horse. Now, I'll just show you, that's the quest that we're currently doing. Now we've got the option to relocate that. So I've walked away from where the quest initially spawned, and we're nowhere near it anymore. But if you go back into your journal and click the relocate quest button, as you can see, it's put it just over there. So now we're going to go on a bit of a quick walk, and we're going to walk over there to where the quest now is. I'm just skipping bits. Obviously I've actually done the walking, but I'm skipping bits to make it quicker for you. So we're nearly in range. As you get closer, the circle gets smaller until you get close enough that you see, that's Thorstein's horse's head. That's not what we wanted to see, although it's not surprising considering the amount of monsters that are out there. And when we get in range, we can click on it, and that brings us up a new interaction where it's showing us how to drag around the screen and have a look, and we can examine the horse's head. It's a bit grim, but This is what happens in the world of Witcher. Okay, so we've had a bit of a look around. And then if you click on it, horse's head must be Jorgen, Thorstein's horse, or more precisely its head. Too bad it was a handsome beast. Let's take a closer look. Alright, so we're going to click on the blade next. Oh no, it's not blade, it's a feather. Feather, more precisely, a flight feather. Smooth, lustrous, from a young, healthy specimen. What's that noise? I think there's something near us. The wound on his head, deep, ragged, dealt by long, hooked talons. Okay, what are we dealing with here? So a flying monster with razor-sharp talons, based on the state of the feather, a young, well-fed griffin. Damn it, an Al Ghul. One? No, it seems like two. Time to draw my sword. Now we move on to the monster fight. And again, these are easier than regular Al Ghuls that you will encounter on the map because they are quest-based. Now this went straight to the fight because we weren't able to prepare, we weren't engaging the monster ourselves. These ambushed us while we were looking at the horse. So there was no preparation for this. And I think that's part of the reason why they've made these fights easier than general map encounters. I don't necessarily agree with that tactic because I think it would be nice to have some sort of difficulty in doing the quests, but it's interesting.
A Griffin, you see? Believe I've got just the thing in that case.
Where did you get Witcher oil? Or nice equipment you have there. It'll be useful. Thanks. Which is what we've got.
At your service.
Alright, let's go. So, now that we've found the horse, and Thorstein's given us some Witcher oil for the Griffin, we are going to go track down the Griffin. That was us getting to the park and realizing that it was closed at 6:30, so we weren't actually able to get in. So I think I've done something similar and picked up the quest a bit later on. So this was after a quest relocate, and we've now walked in range of the Griffin. So we're going to go fight the Griffin because we found it, and now we're going to go fight it. Now again, this appears on your map the same as previously, starting with a large circle, and as you walk closer the circle gets smaller until you actually find it. Again, this monster is slightly easier than you would actually find this monster on the map, because at this stage, if I were to find a wild Griffin on the map, I still wasn't able to kill it. But this part of the quest looks quite easy for me.
Fine work that was! Seems all the crucial bits are here. Just one thing.
What are you looking for?
Here it is. Oh, what a relief.
And my payment?
Here you go.
Thank you.
And I've something even better too. A map of treasure? Huh? See for yourself?
I'll have that.
Let me know when you've had a proper look. I have an offer you can't refuse. The Witcher made quick work of the Griffin, and soon reunited the young merchant with his wares. Thorstein didn't think twice before offering the Witcher a new adventure. A hunt for a mysterious treasure. The Witcher decided to think about this proposal.
And that's the completion of our second quest. Looking at the map, which is in your journal in your inventory as well, will actually trigger the beginning of the third quest, which we will cover in another video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the quests as much as I did. They're a pretty cool storyline. Once you get to the third quest, I think it'll engage you even more. There's a lot of cool stuff in the third quest, but I actually really enjoyed the engagement and the build-up that they've given us for the first two quests. So it started with our first exam, and then we move on to the first person that we're helping, who's given us another quest in turn to go look for some treasure. So I'm really interested and want to see what happens next. Hopefully you guys are too. It's a really great part of the game, and something that I'm looking forward to seeing more of the quests when the game gets fully released in the summer. Thank you guys for watching. If you're enjoying the content, then feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more Witcher content. There's a lot more videos that I've got in the pipeline, so you have those to look forward to, and a lot of things that I've already covered. If this is the first video you're watching, you can go back and have a look at those. We cover Nemetons, we cover monster battles, potions and crafting, and a lot of other things. But anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.